first of all, we need to remember that there are certain conditions to be met for us to qualify to pay zakat. The first condition is Islam. Zakat is fard upon a Muslim and not a non-Muslim. Second condition is a person must be free and not a slave. Third condition is sanity. A person must be sane. Fourth condition is maturity. Zakat is fard upon an adult and not a child. So zakat is fard upon that person who has reached the age of puberty. The fifth condition is a person must be wealthy. And for a person to be wealthy according to Islam is that he must be the owner of nisab. Nisab is the minimum requirement to qualify to pay zakah. And a whole year must pass upon being wealthy. When all these conditions add up together and found in one person, then that person qualifies to pay zakat. Now coming to nisab, remember zakat is given upon different types of wealth. Gold, silver, currency, trade goods. Those goods that have been bought with the pure intention of selling off. Now in gold, the nisab, meaning the minimum requirement to qualify to pay zakat, is different from the minimum requirement in silver. In zakat, in gold, the minimum requirement is 87 grams. When a person owns 87 grams of gold, he is considered wealthy in Islam. So when a whole year passes by and he still owns the minimum requirement in gold, then zakat will be obligatory upon this person. In silver, the nisab, the minimum requirement to qualify to pay zakat, is 612 grams. So when a person owns 612 grams of silver and a whole year passes by, and yet he still meets the minimum requirement to qualify to pay zakat, then zakat will be compulsory upon him. Now coming to the currency and trade goods. Now remember, currency and trade goods will be measured according to the nisab of silver, the minimum requirement of silver. So how will we do that? We will work out the present value of the nisab of silver, which is 612 grams. So we'll work out the value in cash of 612 grams of silver. We will inquire. We can inquire from our local jewelers. Now, for example, if that value comes to 240 pounds, then that means that will be the minimum requirement in cash and trade goods. This is the nisab. Now, when we say a whole year must pass by, this means an entire Islamic year, according to the lunar calendar. When a whole year passes by and a person still qualifies to pay zakat, meets the minimum requirement of nisab, then he must pay zakat immediately. For example, if the nisab of silver values to 240 pounds, now when a person becomes the owner of 240 pounds, he must note down his Islamic date immediately. For example, the 1st of Sha'ban, a person becomes the owner of, reaches the minimum amount of silver, minimum requirement in silver to qualify to pay zakat. For example, it was 240 pounds. And he on the 1st of Sha'ban has £300, is the owner of £300. So he has qualified. Now, when the next time the 1st of Sha'ban arrives, he will find out the value of 612 grams of silver again on that day. And let's say the value on that day is £250 next year. Now he will add up his entire wealth, whether it's trade goods, whether it's cash. He will add it all up. And after he has added it all up, it all adds up to £1,000, which means he still has met the minimum requirement of nisab in cash. Now what he does is he must pay immediately 2.5% of his total wealth. So he is the owner of £1,000 a year later. So he must work out 2.45% of that £1,000 and give it into zakat.